Welcome to the KMBest podcast. We are actually going to talk about Marvel Snap this time. I feel like it's slowly becoming a bit that I introduce every episode by saying we're going to talk about Marvel Snap, and then we
don't go
actually
anywhere.
do. Then we actually do, though, is the thing.
This is the podcast that cried wolf. No,
Yeah.
we don't though. We don't.
Yeah.
We really don't.
It's been multiple episodes in a row of me being like, we're actually going to talk about Marvel Snap. And then instead of, as expected, immediately just talking about, I don't know, Eric Adams, we actually, like dedicated podcasters, save that for the end of the podcast instead of front loading Eric Adams content onto the beginning of every podcast. Like I'm doing right now. Yeah. But I actually have, there's something on my mind, Gerry. And it's something that, as a game designer, I do want your opinion on. Where I realize, I know you're going to be like, not a game designer. I was just an intern at Wizards of the Coast. Shut up.
Again, yeah. Just so you know, if there was like a parentheses under my name, it would say not a game designer. That is literally what it would say. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, granted, you just undermined the entire premise of the question and or the podcast. But I will continue.
I can pretend.
Also, I wanted to shout this out. Someone said this podcast should have a chess clock because I talk too much. And what do you think about figuring out a way to actually do that?
I think that person is correct, but it is also the KMBest podcast. If you want to listen to me talk more, I don't know, go listen to my podcast.
I feel like, well, first of all, which one? Second of all,
well, I have one that is mine, and then I have one where I believe I am also in the role that I am here, where I am very much secondary.
I don't really consider you.
It's on purpose. I'm not trying to dominate like every space that I'm in, you know?
Right. Whereas I, on the other hand, have incredibly important things to say, and if I don't say them, I will forget them. If I don't say everything in my brain at any given moment, it will never be said again. And I know it's precious and important because I thought of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about like forgetting it. I feel like you have more of the thing going on where it's like, I had a thought, and therefore it is the greatest thought of all time because I am a cishet white dude born in the United States of America, and therefore everyone must know about it, which is why I have a podcast or 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really stellar impression of me. I think you really kind of nailed the core of what I try to go for.
It was an amalgam of you and me.
Right.
Because you only have 2 podcasts. You're slacking.
That's true. That's true.
You're not living up to your cishet white dude identity.
My potential.
You know?
I'm not living. Yeah. I could be so much more annoying on the internet.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. I'm saying.
Yeah. I actually did want to talk about, there is something on my mind Marvel Snap wise, and it is, I'm seeing a lot of complaints about Grand Arena. Obviously, like the immediate reception was this is the best game mode they've ever done. That's still basically true.
Okay.
The complaints people are having are, you motherfuckers are still playing Tech Slop. I have to log on and I have to waste tickets playing against the motherfucker who plays Agatha Harkness on turn 2 and then just plays the same Shang-Chi Enchantress slop as on ladder. How dare you? And
that's funny. My homie Lawson sent me a text like before the mode went up, like he was cooking beforehand, and that is the deck that he built.
Is that the guy named Zan?
Yeah, Lawson.
Yeah. That deck is the one that made it to my video, and he was like, "Oh, my deck made a KMBest video," and we ruined the entire format. So your boy is patient 0 for Tech Slop.
Hell yeah, complaints. Lawson! Yeah. Let's go.
Your boy. Come get your boy, dog, because he ruined Marvel Snap. And
that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah, I will say in addition to that, I find it hard to disentangle, right? Because I think there is a degree to which people would complain about anything that beat them, right? Because fundamentally, it's what I like to refer to as MTG Arena smiley face theory, where the number one thing that determines whether or not you enjoyed the game, no matter what your protestations to the contrary are, did you win or did you lose is the biggest contributor. And then there are there's some subtext, right? Like, did you do a cool thing while you won? Did you do a really cool thing while you lost? That can make it acceptable, but it's largely did you win or did you lose?
Well, it's there are like player psychographics too, right? Where a lot of times when I'm playing these games, I want to quote unquote do the thing,
Mhm.
whatever that thing is that I set out to do. And win or lose, I don't really care. It's just I got to have those good brain chemicals that were induced into me from, I don't know, seeing big number or whatever the hell I did. So
But would you say
I
it's easier or harder to acquire those game chemicals if you win or lose?
I think you have to be a little bit better adjusted. And that kind of comes with age.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you're I think for like the majority of people who play games, it's a sliding scale. I'm not saying like everyone only cares about winning, but largely there is a component of caring about winning and a component of caring about executing your game plan or doing something fun, whatever fun may mean for you. And that's sort of what the psychographics deal with, right? Spike
Right.
is, they don't care at all about that. But I think something people miss about the psychographics is Timmy doesn't just want to play 8/8s, he wants to win with his 8/8s, right? Johnny doesn't
Sure.
want to just do his combo. He wants to win with his combo. Like that is part of it, right? That is an important part of it is that like there is a game and someone's screen says victory and someone else's screen says defeat, and to pretend that that is not a major part of how you feel about the game when you play it, I think is a little myopic.
No, of course, but realistically, uh, in a heads up game, in theory, it's 50-50, right? But like there are other things going on where someone is winning or losing, where it's like, if there is a tournament, there is
Yes.
one person who wins, maybe 8 people who make the top 8. The rest of you are losers.
Loser factory.
Tournaments, yeah, exactly. Tournaments just create losers. That's all they do. They create
Yep.
far more losers than they create winners. And in terms of, I don't know, is your goal to get in a KMBest video? Okay, Lawson's a winner. How many losers are out there? Probably a lot.
I hope
So
that's
that is
nobody's
kind of what
goal.
games are doing. Like there more people are taking L's than they are being celebrated and whatnot. And just given that fact, like you if you think about it realistically, like you got to find your victory somewhere else. And so I was
I
like building things, making content, whatever, trying to engage in the game and where I just try to do the thing and see whether or not I win. That's part of it. It's like I don't know if I'm going to win or not. And I could lose, but I learned something, and that's good. And so
agree.
then boom, 2 winners. My opponent beat me. I did my thing.
Incredibly healthy way to look at it. Do you think that's how most people look at it?
No, of course not. It's
Okay.
non-zero. It's non-zero. I think there are some people who are kind of well adjusted or are able to either like they don't have a competitive drive or they are scratching that itch somewhere else. And games are where they go to just have fun. It is just a sandbox for them, right? And God bless those people. They are probably so happy.
Yeah.
Uh but yeah, I mean, you can work to change your mindset. It's not going to happen overnight, of course. It took me about 25 years, but here we are.
As someone who's in the middle of that process, I don't want to denigrate that process. But what I do want to say is there's a lot of salt directed specifically at tech cards. The idea that these are the cards that are the
It comes
problems
from
in the
you
format.
mostly.
I don't think that's true because I mean I may be like patient too in this thing, but I think people would have figured it out. You know what I mean? Like it
No,
doesn't
no,
take a lot.
I'm not talking about Grand Arena specifically. I'm just talking about the use of tech cards and the
Mm.
frustration surrounding tech cards. It's like you are a guy who is like very much at the forefront of that conversation in a lot of ways.
I feel like I'm not largely because I like talk about my things in reasonable terms and don't just yell about how tech slop is ruining the game. And
You do that, which I appreciate. I wouldn't be here otherwise.
right. I bring this up mostly to actually offer a defense of tech slop in Grand Arena specifically because I got to tell you, man,
Well, my boy Lawson made it, so that's my defense. Sounds
my
great to me.
my defense is like, have you tried any of those Herbie Wong decks where you just make like an 800 power Herbie every other game? Like,
No, that sounds dope. Ship a list.
it's dope as hell. I did a video on it, right? Like, it's so dope. Also, there is no goddamn way that that kind of thing can exist in a format anyone puts any kind of time into without tech cards in it. Like, it is
Is it?
unrealistic.
Well, right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Where it's like, oh, that sounds dope as hell. I'll probably get Shang-Chi or whatever and
Yes.
just die a horrible death. But who cares? Number big, good brain chemicals, etc.
Yeah.
But also, isn't this the format where people are just supposed to do dumb shit?
You see, that's the
Even most
argument for getting rid of them, right? But it's like the problem I run into is there's some things that are just so prohibitively dumb that they prevent all the other dumb shit from existing. Does that make sense?
that's fair. Yeah.
Like, like I get that they tried to hit some of the high outliers and combo decks in the ban list. You can see it. And this is the high elo chat room that I have. You could see them like going down the list of like, is this banned? Is this banned? Is this banned? Like before the mode came out, and there was just like, yep. So like they went through it, right? It's clear they had someone like go through it and do that, right? But like they left enough things alone. Herbie's doubling being one of them, Wong being one of them, Iron Man being one of them, such that anything that does things that double is just going to be bigger than like your Human Torch or whatever, right? And so in a world where the tech cards don't exist, like people have been proposing all sorts of ideas, right? But in a world where that doesn't exist, you are just getting, you know, Iron Man onslaughted or Wong comboed or whatever, and you have absolutely nothing you can do about it. I actually think the Iron Man decks kind of run up against this already, because if you custom build it, you get to just put Cosmo in, and you play Cosmo on your lane, and it's like, have you ever gotten like a Nexus and your opponent's the Iron Man deck and they put a Cosmo in there, and you're just like, oh, I guess I die.
Yeah.
I can't beat that. All right. Like there is just a lot of that. And one of the things that normal Marvel Snap does really well is mitigate that crap with the snap mechanic, right? Ben Bro did a GDC talk where he talked about like zero sum fun and how normal the snapping mechanic can address zero sum fun by giving you like X% of the fun, right? And since this doesn't have the snap mechanic, when I played that Wong deck, there were a lot of games where it was just like, oh, you're playing a Human Torch deck? You don't have a Shang-Chi? Game's over on turn 4. Sorry. Like, it's just actually over, and you have to sit here and watch me win for the next 2 turns. Sorry, dude. Like, but it's been over. And I kind of think that while I am in favor of a Shang ban, because I think this is the only real environment where it's safe to try stuff like that, like, it's the last week of a game mode, just fire it and see what happens, right?
Sure.
I do think it probably makes the game mode worse. Like if you forced me to make the argument, it's like, I think there are a bunch of mitigating factors. Like, okay, they'll replace Shang with Valkyrie. It'll be the same. Who cares, right? Especially with the extra energy in the game mode. That's not actually a huge cost. So who actually cares if we get rid of Shang-Chi? It doesn't actually matter, right? That's the best argument for banning it that I can think of. And otherwise, I think it probably just makes the format worse.
I think at some point they are going to have to do a thing where, yeah, you do ban Shang, even if it's for like half of the format's life cycle the first time, just so that you can see what happens as a result of it. And that so people stop just saying like, that's the problem every single time. And I mean, maybe it is, maybe it goes well, maybe you learn something and that thing is just banned from here on out. And it's like, okay, well, that's a good outcome. Say it goes poorly, people don't have Shang, they get 800 powered over and over and over again. And are you going to keep complaining about Shang-Chi at that point?
See,
I mean, they will, but then people can point back to it at least.
I think what would happen is people would just move their complaints to something else. Like, it would just be like next thing to complain about, whether that be Valkyrie or Shadow King, or how Second Dinner is so stupid for not seeing Valkyrie coming, or how they needed to do more to curb the rise of Wong, or whatever, right? It would be something, right? Because largely, I don't think players are a good judge of whether the thing that beats them is fun. Does that make any sense? I think they're great judges of whether their decks are fun to play. But I don't think players are good at removing, this is the card that beats me, from I am not having a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would gravitate towards things in games where I know that I am going to enjoy playing them and that is fun for me. And certainly back in the day, winning was a large part of that, right? But yeah, if you ask someone I don't know, basically any question, man. Like they may even believe the answer that they give you, like, but they don't know what the actual answer is. They're confident they have the answer and that they know the answer is just wrong. Uh, it's just like I am in my 40s, and if someone asked me why I'm single, you think the answer I'm gonna give is gonna be the real one? Like let's use that as an example. Like that is a fascinating prospect right there.
Yeah, that there is a good chance, and by a good chance I mean 100% that like that's probably not the right answer. That whatever you think it is probably not what it is.
Right, because if that was the answer in theory, I could then solve that or whatever. But not for real. I could tell you the actual answer.
Oh, I think I
I
mean, me personally, my guess is your dick is just too big. It makes it very hard to find a willing partner when you
that is
are like you have 14 inches soft.
that is a very common guess,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean that's a very common ailment, really. This is a podcast that is open to the suffering of brothers like yourself, where
Dude, for real.
I saw a post the other day. Oh man, we totally lost the plot. I saw a post the other day that was like comparing posts from the subreddits for big dick problems and small dick problems. I got a kick out of that one because all the big dick problem ones are like, oh man,
I
it was
didn't I didn't
mildly
even know
uncomfortable.
I didn't even know that there were subreddits for these things,
Oh
but
yeah,
like it did not surprise me because there are subreddits for everything.
yeah.
But it's great to hear that I guess both those communities are thriving.
Yeah, I find it hard to understand like with a subreddit like that how much of it is just like lies, right? Like how much of it is just like a 15-year-old who's insecure posting on big dick problems and lying about it, or
Yeah.
someone rage baiting on small dick problems to like post on Twitter and be like, look at this, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
impossible to
I
tell
mean,
with all these communities whether or not anything is actually real there. But
well, yeah, nowadays I think that just all the posts are fake for the
yeah,
most part. It's like you go on Am I the Asshole or whatever, and it's
yeah,
just like, yeah, this was written by AI or some bullshit.
yes.
And it's just like, at some point the forum was sacred, but now people are just playing
People
make em ups on the internet.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it used to be when you made shit up on the internet, there was a purpose to it. Now people make shit up on the internet to rage bait on Twitter to pay their rent with Twitter Blue. We're losing recipes.
It's true. We are cooked.
Yeah. I will swing this back to Marvel Snap largely because I think that there are a lot of people out there who believe that they simply are being held back by the existence of certain cards in a format. And I think just like even zooming out of like this being a defensive tech cards, I think this is largely a concept that like applies across card games where it's like there are absolutely metagames that favor certain types of players and metagames that don't. That's absolutely a thing. But I
Can
don't
confirm.
I don't think that exchanging one format gatekeeper for another is something that will necessarily make people happy. The people that are upset about this are upset about in part losing to it, right? And they will continue to be upset about it. Some percentage of them will continue to be upset the second some other deck crystallizes as the thing they lose to all the time, right? It's not just that this is the tech card stuff, it's also that it's the same stuff from ladder, so that it carries this inbuilt fatigue. Oh, I can't wait to go into ladder and lose to Shang-Chi. Oh, I can't wait to go into Grand Arena and lose to Shang-Chi. It carries this like double hit to it, right? Where I think that largely what would happen is that if you got rid of the tech cards, you would create new format gatekeepers and people would complain about those. But what you would achieve, and this is important, is complaint diversity. You would at least have people
No, I
complaining
think it's
about two
huge.
different things.
I think it's huge. You can have a game where there's a best deck all the time, and it's always way better than the second best deck. But as long as that is not the same deck for like more than 2 weeks, I think that your game is diverse and you have content, you have churn to some degree. However, you are managing that. It could be heavy handed, like through bans or rotations or whatever. But the fact that people are and have been complaining about Shang-Chi off and on in, like all the game modes on ladder, like for years at this point. It's like that's to some degree, it's like it's getting to a point where it's like, oh, maybe it's real now, you know? But maybe not in the way that they're talking about. It's just like, yeah, you should have given them something else to complain about.
Yes. Like that is, I think, the worthwhile argument for a Shang ban is at least someone will complain about something else for once. Like at
Yeah, like,
least
oh, my Valkyrie that I literally have 30 total boosters for a lifetime. That
yes.
card is so
Yes.
cracked. Okay, well, why were you never playing it then? I don't know.
Well, because Shang-Chi existed, right? Like, I do think that like there's an argument for just like knocking these cards, not because they're actually balanced problems, just so you can like meaningfully diversify the environment. And I also think that since what we know is they can do balance updates on this with the OTA. They've given some team answers to that effect. They could be able to update the ban list, right? In much the same way that they did for Sanctum. So, with that in
Okay.
mind, I have a couple of ban list proposals I want to run by you.
Before I say anything in
Okay.
regards to what you propose, I would like to throw out there that whether or not they do make changes, or even like whether or not I suggest that changes should be made, if I had access to like data on like how the format is going, that would certainly change things one way or
Yeah.
the other. It's like it's really hard to just because I just kind of imagine this format's doing really well. And you're talking about like, oh, people want bans after like a week or something, and it's just like, is that even good? Is that a good idea? But all right, go ahead.
No, that's actually a really good point, right? Because largely the people that want bans are highly invested players who sort of finish the mode early. And I don't mean finish the mode in the sense that like they're completing the track or whatever, but like they get a sense of what the mode is early, right? And someone who's playing it in a more measured pace might not actually get a sense of that in much the same way that Marvel Snap doesn't balance for high ranks, because if they balanced for high ranks, a lot of decks would never trickle down to the general population before they nerfed them, right?
Sure. Yeah, I guess that is fair.
And when I say I've heard people complaining, it's overwhelmingly like in my Discord, in other Discords, on social media. Those are by definition the higher invested players. That's just how it works, right? So I don't really think this is a majority view of Grand Arena. I think it's a view that highly invested players who are suffering from some degree of fatigue, as many people are in the post-Kid Omega world,
But
are
like,
feeling.
here's the thing though, is like if you do a thing for like 10 hours a day, yeah, you're gonna get fucking bored of it. What did you expect? God damn it, go outside, go do something else.
Don't go outside. Watch all
Yeah,
of my
don't do
YouTube
that.
videos on repeat.
I went on a walk, which is
Yeah.
when I sent you that picture,
Yeah.
and there was a beautiful mural in under this bridge, and I made sure to get the stream in the picture, and that's just Waynesboro, Virginia, baby. Like took a nice little forest stream walk, looked at some geese.
I
It was hot as shit. I don't recommend it. It
I
sucked.
marinated in my own sweat indoors under 2 ring lights, playing Thanos and Darkhawk and pretending it was 2023.
Uh, Against who?
What do you mean?
Oh, you just played with those decks, like queuing
Yeah.
into current things. Oh,
Yes.
good God. My thing was better. I had more fun than you did, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I bet. I will say this. I think that they should take advantage of this opportunity to just take swings. We are in the second week of Grand Arena, or we will be by the time they do the OTA. My advice to them would just be do some wacky shit. Like just do something crazy and get the information from it. Do something that might inform your changes in the future.
Yeah, more so that one. I would say, yeah, you can do wacky, weird stuff. I think that's fine. But certainly have a target in mind with what is the thing that we can learn here as a result of doing it.
Okay. So with all of that in mind, here are my ban proposals. This one seems pretty straightforward to me. Sarah's got to go. That's just stupid. Like, they put Wiccan on the ban list for obvious reasons. Sarah's the exact same card. Get it out of here.
Yep.
Just gone. I don't care. Like, I realize it's not like oppressive or whatever, but whenever I played the Agatha Tech decks, it was like, wow, you know what I really need to draw this game? Sarah. You know what my entire game plan hinges on? It's not the turn 2 Agatha, it's getting Sarah. And they should not be doing that. Get it out of here. Gone, right?
Well, yeah, your game doesn't hinge on turn 2 Agatha because you literally have it every game.
Exactly. And so the only thing I really care about is Sarah. That's the card I care about. Here's another ban that might be a little more controversial. Cannonball's got to go. 7 energy means you can Cannonball Mercury final turn. It's got to go.
Really? My opponent did a thing to my card. I just wanted to play solitaire. Okay, you get rid of Shang, you get rid of Cannonball. Next up is Valkyrie. Like, you're gonna try and ban every card that makes it so you can't just Goldfish. Like, our game's not better when they have interaction.
Well, specifically the Fenris Wolf cards are the ones that I'd be aiming it at. Fenris Wolf is A, quite popular, B, doubles up on those cards. So, I mean, maybe ban Fenris Wolf, but that's kind of like a little, I don't know. It's a little, I don't know about that one, Chief. But, like, I think it's way, way better to have a bunch of tech cards that remove abilities and remove power rather than specifically destroy. Because, A, it feels better, and B, you can't double the impact of them with a Fenris Wolf.
Sure. You know what would fix a lot of these problems, actually? This is like the commander mode.
Yeah.
Effectively, for Marvel Snap, right? They should have you playing against maybe a pod of 4 players total. And then your Shang-Chi and your Cannonball would be less effective.
It would be so ass. There is constant controversy in Commander because Commander players will complain about a card that just literally requires removal because nobody plays removal in their decks, because you can't play removal in your decks because you're playing against 4 people. So you using a card to get rid of their card is bad value. So every time you'll get like a Commander player complaining about like a 5-mana card that has no ETB but accrues massive value because 0 people play the card Doomblade in their Commander decks. It is constant.
If every card was like, you know, hexproof indestructible or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, maybe that's pretty good, I guess. But it's not, and in theory you could do something, but they just showed up without any weapons to this gunfight, you know? It's
but you gotta understand, if I have weapons, then people will try to get me to use my weapons. And the optimal thing for me to do is to get other people to use their weapons on the threat. Even though all of us know this and we've all prisoners dilemmaed ourselves into bringing no goddamn removal, losing to the thing that costs 5 mana.
So it sounds like you should be doing the most powerful, faster version of the snowball-y thing.
Intriguing. I wonder if there's a lesson to be learned here. I wonder if there's a lesson to be learned about what metagames look like in the absence of tech cards and removal. Oh, well, surely we can just ignore that and continue to ban Shang-Chi.
Like you recognize that there needs to be a way to interact with stuff, because otherwise your opponent's stuff just goes ham, and you would feel helpless if you were not able to stop your opponent if you did not have stuff.
Can I stop you for a minute? Why do you keep saying stuff that way?
Stuff?
What? I don't know. What's happening?
Weird emphasis on it, because there's weird emphasis on like ban Cannonball, ban Valkyrie, ban
Valkyrie. You made that up.
Not yet, because you haven't banned Cannonball. Or it's like ban all the cards that do something. What game do you want to play?
The one where I win and don't have to try.
Oh, so my deck gets to do stuff. They can't interact with me, and also they don't do anything.
Yes, that is exactly the game I want to play.
That's a really sweet game. I'm sure you would think 10 hours into that every day like you do with Marvel Snap.
Literally, that is what Commander players do every day of their lives.
Yeah, but they're like, I don't know, talking about Succession or something.
Have you? No, they're talking about like how best to bully the rest of the table into conceding. CEDH stories have become a new fascination of mine.
That's CEDH. That's a way different crowd.
CEDH is the coolest thing on earth. And by that, I mean the single most cursed card game format ever invented.
No, I think it is beautiful. I think it is wonderful and
beautiful?
beautiful, and it should be protected because it got all those people who feel that way together and away from me. And now all I want to do is buy those wonderful, beautiful people an island so that they all live there together away from me.
It's so cool, man. Every CEDH tournament story is like, so-and-so player spent 10 hours talking to delay the game to force a draw. Like, that one was my favorite because it was like some like CEDH big shot, right? Who managed...
Which...
I don't know.
Comical.
What? But like what they did was they talked to the judge and they said, judge, this is the last pod. I have to make a flight at 4. Can you just call it a draw if we go until 4? Which, first of all, no, you can't change the rules of the goddamn tournament. If you have to leave the tournament, you fucking lose. That's not a win con. But social game, they talked the judge into this and then sat there talking for 10 hours so that it was forced to be a draw. 10 hours of filibustering a game of CEDH. The greatest accomplishment in human history. I love that so much because it's something that should never happen on any level, but B, the idea of talking the judge into calling it a draw if X happens, and then clearly the judge is like, yeah, okay, that won't happen. Who gives a shit? And then talking for 10 hours to make it happen. Funniest shit on earth.
So now that Cam has told the story, before you people were probably listening to me and being like, wow, Jerry's being mean to this lovely group of card game players.
He's being nice.
And now that you've heard the story, you're like, damn, Jerry's right. Get them an island. Because I know exactly that local guy at my card store who is like kind of good, but definitely way more annoying than he is good. It is very much like,
what's up, dude? I'm right here.
Go to card stores. You don't
That's
go to
true.
card
I don't.
stores.
You're right. Good point.
You could be. I mean, I believe that you could live up to this potential. I believe you have it in you. But there are people thinking about a specific person right now, and they're like, yeah, put that guy in the island. He would love
it. It's a really remarkable format.
Honestly, that's the thing, is like that guy would love it. So like, why would we not do this? Everyone wins. Everyone's happy.
The other story I remember, I can't remember who this is from, and I can't remember the exact details. You might be able to do this one better than me. This might have been Sam Black talking about how...
Black posted just some absolutely heinous things.
This one, can I try to jog your memory?
I mean, if you want to, I've mostly tried to forget all this shit.
Okay, so this one, if I recall correctly, was a discussion... It's a 4-person pod. Someone has a counter spell. Sam has the ability to tap a land. I believe this one is... This might actually be famous in CEDH circles. I think like this play is like a known thing, where the idea is someone says, you need to give me priority so I can counter this game-winning spell and get someone to tap their land, right? And then they do that for every land you have. So it's called mana bullying. And so the idea is like priority shifts whenever it goes in the order of the circle, right? So the person before you can give you priority if they tap a land. That is a pretty jargony explanation, but it's honestly the best I can do because this format is the worst thing ever invented. It is... Yes. So the idea is basically your game theory optimal is force your opponent going right before you to tap out in exchange for you using your counter spell on a spell that, and to be clear, will lose everyone the game if it resolves. 100% of people will lose the game except the person casting it if you don't counter it, but you are trying to extract this extra value by forcing your opponent next to you to tap all their mana and be unable to stop you from comboing off. And I believe the scenario I'm referring to with Sam involves something along those lines. And the idea that like this is a concept that is well thought out enough to have a name for it is just the most horrifying thing on earth to me.
Yeah. That sounds exactly like the type of shit that I don't want to be a part of.
If anyone in the comments has any CEDH stories, please drop them. There haven't been a lot of good Magic cheater stories recently. You know, we're kind of running on fumes and reminiscing about the good old days of Betcher and Alex and them. So this is my new, like, totally deranged card game thing that I'm fascinated with.
You did hear about the guy at the NRG that was keeping cards in his jacket pocket?
I did not. Please go on.
Oh, really? This was a while ago. He was playing Boros in Standard.
Wait, was this
not
the
good.
feature match guy? Yeah.
He got caught in the feature match, yeah. But like then these stories came out where it's like, oh, he had a planes in play against me, and there was no planes on his deck list after the deck list got posted, and like, oh, he killed me with a creature land, and there are no creature lands in his deck. Like he just had a wide array of cards. Like basic land was in his jacket pocket, you know?
Yeah,
Boros
Karn Wishboard. Yeah.
Yeah. He was ready for any situation. But like it's so funny to me because his deck was so bad that like, yeah, you need that. You need to keep cards in your jacket pocket in order to top 8. Have you tried just playing a deck that is not dog shit?
See, that's something that I really love is like in other card games, people will like self-identify as the X guy, right? Like, I'm the guy who plays this deck. I'm the master of this deck. Which, if you've ever been good at a card game,
I'm the Boros Mice guy.
If you've ever been good at a card game, you realize how absolutely goddamn stupid that is. Because if you gave Paulo Vitor 30 minutes with the deck, he'd be better than you, right? Like, it's
true.
It's
but I'm the
like,
guy. I'm the Merfolk guy.
So dumb. It's so dumb. Like, it is a cool advertising gimmick, and I believe that there are plenty of people with specialized domain knowledge in this world. But also, give Paulo an hour, right? he'll figure it out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he'll need an hour for sure these days. Back in the day, it was like 30.
Yeah, now he's got to read. Like, these cards have a lot of text lines on them.
Oh, well, yes, but he showed up to every Pro Tour, like, for the testing house, and was just like, okay, what cards are legal? Because, like, after the last Pro Tour, he would not play Magic for 3 months.
Yep.
And then he would just show up to the next one.
Yep. That, like, if you give, like, the idea of, like, specialized domain knowledge overcoming something like the innate advantage Paulo has by being Paulo, like, there's just no way, man. There's no amount of domain knowledge that can get you there.
No, he's like a changeling, you know?
Yeah.
He's every creature type. He has mastered every domain.
Yeah. It's just great pun, by the way. It's like domain, you know, like the mechanic. It's like all 5 colors. Yeah. It was just good.
Yep.
I don't know how we got here in this conversation.
Brother, neither do I.
Bannings.
Bannings.
Nerf
what do you
Shang-Chi?
want? Can you nerf it in the mode, or would that also mean that you have to nerf it on ladder for that week?
I will bet any amount of money that they do not have the technology to do that. I will bet.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, like there is just absolutely no chance. This is a game who routinely breaks the game with their own animations on cards. There's no way they can instance 2 separate Shang-Chis. It cannot
new
be
card for this week. Chang-Chi. Given for free to everyone. 5/2.
Yeah.
On reveal.
That would probably have to be how they did it. There is no way they could do that like on time. Do like a little stick figure drawing. When I had Jason Yang on my show a long time ago, he showed me some of the stick figure drawings they used for Kate Bishop's arrows, and the grapple arrow was just a plunger. It's
Nice.
it's like a little stick figure plunger. That was the grapple arrow. So shout out to that. They actually had like little, you know, like stick figure drawings for all these cards, which is a phenomenal thing to do.
Very Dream Quest-esque.
How so? I don't really.
Dream Quest. It is a game. Go look it up.
I'll look it up later. Other cards that might need to.
You'll forget.
Probably. Other cards that might need to. Well, how would you know if I forgot? I could have looked it up.
Because you said that whenever you have a thought, you immediately shout it into the void because you might forget it. That
Right, but
means
like,
that
what do you want me to do? Do you want me to like message you, hey, I looked up Dream Quest, and then we have like no conversation about it because all I'll have done is look at the Wikipedia page?
I'm unsure if there is a Wikipedia page. We'll see.
You
Maybe I'll
should.
look it up right now while you talk.
I feel like what you should do is like test me on it, like save it for a couple weeks and be like, did you ever look up Dream Quest? And then just like bring it back and see if you can own me like that.
Yeah, but I know what the result of that is going to be.
No, you don't.
So
I'll look
it's
it up
not
as
even
soon as I
fun.
finish. I'll look it up as soon as I finish this video. 100%. A hundo p.
See Wikipedia.
Okay. Other cards that probably might need to be on the ban list. Agatha Harkness. 11 card decks are pretty stupid. The Doom spell, turning her into all upside, is pretty stupid. I don't know. Might as well get rid of her. I don't think it's like the greatest thing in the world, but you might as well just like yeet her out of the mode. But honestly, other than that, I don't really feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like the rest of the game mode is pretty good. You hit Sarah, you hit Cannonball Shang, you hit Agatha, and I'm not even saying you actually need to hit Shang, but I'd be happy with just like Sarah, Agatha, Cannonball. And I don't know if they can do this, but they have to do something about Herbie's spell, because that guy's real good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with most of that stuff, especially if they can give me an example of like what they would hope to learn by doing it. Then I'm like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want. I don't care. That's more content for me in theory.
Yeah, Herbie's spell is probably the biggest surprise of the game mode to me, because what's effectively happened is there's 3 kinds of decks. There are Mr. Fantastic decks that are ongoing. There are Doctor Doom decks that are Agatha cheating, and that can be both in the tech shell or a Surtur shell. And then there are Herbie decks that are literally every other strategy. That's the game mode, right? Like it's those are the decks. You have Reed, you have Doom Agatha, and you have Herbie Clog, Herbie Wong, Herbie Zoo, Herbie whatever, because, and this is actually very funny, anything you would want to do in the Invisible Woman shell, don't do that, just do it in Herbie. Just don't do Invisible Woman, just do Herbie instead. The spell is better, you get the extra energy, you get more power out of it, just go do that instead. Literally every single time.
Yeah, certainly your champion is stronger.
Any deck you would conceivably put together to play with Invisible Woman would be better if you just did it with Herbie.
Yeah, it's probably not a great place to be. Oh well.
And Moleman is just like, Moleman has the best, like, if you look at the precons, his is the one that is like, oh, that's the closest to a ladder deck. It's pretty good, right? Wrong, it's terrible. It's completely unplayable because this game mode is much higher powered than ladder and it has no tech in it.
Not surprising. A little too small ball.
Carnage rocks, and people still play him. But what I find the funniest about Carnage is I feel like they perfectly managed to port Destroy from ladder to this game mode. Like, somehow, of all the things that they got wrong about like the difference in average power level between a ladder deck and this game mode with every other thing, they ported Destroy exactly. They were like in the lab cooking up the exact perfect spell to take Destroy from a 48% win rate ladder deck to a 48% win rate Grand Arena deck, and they absolutely nailed it. It is unbelievable how exactly the same that deck is.
Well, it's funny because the initial thing that put Destroy over the top was getting X23 and then being able to play Deadpool plus Null on the final turn. And this mode just automatically does that. Mm-hmm. So then you add some consistency on top of that. And it's like, oh yeah, this is just, if you could cater to Destroy with a game mode, this would be it. These are the things that deck wants. I play a decent amount of Carnage, and I feel like it is also in the small ball camp though, compared to a lot of the other stuff.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, they exactly ported. Yes. It's exactly ported. They took it from a 48% win rate ladder deck to a 48% win rate deck in a game mode perfectly. It feels exactly the same. It's unbelievable.
Notable is that people were able to get Kid Omega from the collector token packs, and then they banned Nimrod in this mode. And I feel like that may have done something. Maybe that would have been a little scary, but
You know what's kind of messed up is I kind of feel like Nimrod would have been okay to allow, if only because I've seen what the long decks can do. It's just like, that's a little small, man. Like, that's a little.
no, probably.
Yeah.
But the problem with those decks is like you want to buff up the Nimrod as much as possible. And you don't have a ton of time to do that because a lot of those cards are pretty expensive, but now you have like extra energy and whatnot. So you also get a free way to proc it. So you are less pigeonholed. Well, I guess you get 2 free ways. So yeah, even on the final turn, it's like you don't need to save like Deathlock Venom or whatever. Like you just have that rolled up. So
I think that's
I feel like you could make
Nimrod.
your Nimrods pretty big.
I feel like that's largely the concern with Nimrod, where it's just like, if we let them have this, they start the game with 2 destroys in hand. It's like, okay, yeah, you probably gotta. I think it might have been a nice little counterweight to Shang-Chi stuff, personally, but like it probably does end up being a little bit stupid, and it definitely stat checks everything like Human Torch.
Yeah, your deck could be the Carnage, the Nimrod, maybe like a Kid Omega and like another destroyer just in case to like get the ball rolling or whatever. But then the rest of it could just be things that pump your Nimrod or draw your Nimrod.
Yeah, I think largely there is one other ban that's probably worth discussing, and I think this is probably the one that has the most lukewarm case for a ban. But it's probably the one that has like the loudest contingent for what I consider a lukewarm case. Like, I consider this card to have a worse case than like a Shang-Chi, right? That is Alioth. And
yeah, Alioth is like, Shang is definitely the OG Fun Police, but Alioth was the second coming, and I totally get, you know, if you're gonna complain about Shang, you might as well complain about Alioth and complain about Cannonball.
Well, I think like part of me is like, oh yeah, we should ban Alioth because Invisible Woman is a champion and he shits all over her, right? But like, if we're being honest, like,
not what is holding her down.
Yes, like that's the issue, right? Like, what's holding her down is any Invisible Woman deck would be better if you played Herbie in it instead. Like, that's her main problem, is that she sucks. It's not Alioth's fault. I do think that like the argument is just, that's so goddamn stupid that you should get rid of it. It's just like, that's so dumb that it just shouldn't be a part of this. Storm's another one where it's just like, I don't think a turn 2 Storm is fun for anyone. It just doesn't seem like a fun thing to be doing. Let alone the like War Machine Legion stuff, which is actually less likely because of the cards that start in your hand. Everyone's playing with a Quicksilver. It's like probably not a balance issue, but it's just like, yeah, this is sucky. Why don't we get rid of it kind of deal.
Yeah, you have to draw a line somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Where would you draw that line?
I would just let people have answers to things and not baby whine about it. I don't know, try and play around it. Play an armor or something if you don't like getting shangered, you know?
You know, I've been playing a little bit of Hearthstone recently, right? I been hanging out in the Discord of a high-level streamer who I will not name, but not I don't know if this is incriminating. It's probably not incriminating. But like, there's a lot of like really good players in there, and they're grinding for ladder finishes because they need points or whatever. And they're the saltiest motherfuckers you've ever seen on the face of the planet, right? And one of them said something that's like really stuck with me, is like, the mistake of competitive Hearthstone is that you have to play Hearthstone, right? It's like, obviously they're making a joke, right? Ha ha. But I kind of wonder if because like the conversation continued in this, it's like one of the things that really occurred to me here was Hearthstone is a great game when you're not on the receiving end of the dumb shit, right? Like, it's an amazing game when your opponent doesn't hit the 1 in 20 to revive their starship or whatever, and it has 50 power and Wind Fury or something, right? It's a great game when that stuff doesn't happen. And I think the contrapositive to that is when that stuff happens, your opponent is feeling amazing about it, right? It's awesome, right? is the problem, and I'm actually serious when I say this, is the problem the competitive part? Is the problem that people try to make these games into competitive endeavors and thereby kill their own souls?
I think competitive people are the problem. I think Hearthstone, Marvel Snap, like both are games that have a lot of similarities in that the people in like the middle of the ladder, kind of like in Elo hell or whatever, are probably the happiest among the player base. And I would want to keep those people happy. And I would not really care about what rank 69 player KMBest thinks or whatever. Just because you're a small part of it, you know?
Yeah. Like,
and Hearthstone is exactly a game where I think you are just punishing yourself if you are playing it as a spike.
dude, I played a game today where my opponent was playing Druid. There's one good card in the entire class. It's called a Mirdrasil. And if you draw it, your win rate skyrockets by like 20%. And they drew it.
Like one of my medications.
Nice. A Mirdrasil. For all those times where you just can't get hard. It's a tree. They played it on turn 2, but I
was
cleverly
taking it to try and shrink my penis size, actually. Thought that might solve my problem.
Sure. They played it on turn 2. I very cleverly played 30 power on turn 4, and they died. It's just like, well, we both played games. Like you really do start to feel the lack of a snap in games like that, where it's like, I feel like I am in control of maybe 20% of the games I play in a game like Hearthstone or Magic, where it's like the rest of this was just on rails from the cards we drew. Like the rest of this, there were decisions, but only 20% of games feel like they're like, oh, I'm really like, this is a game that I'd actually made the decisions that mattered in. And that includes the games that I win for free by making 30 power on turn 4, or the ones that I lose for free by my opponent doing that, right? Like, it's just like, sometimes it's just like that. And you really miss snapping in those kind of situations.
So you watched me play Magic a little bit, specifically in Limited, over the last couple months with Final Fantasy, and I think you were witness to plenty of instances in where the decisions that I made did matter quite a bit, where you were like questioning why I would include this card over that card or whatever. And I'm like, I'm doing it for XYZ reason. And then that comes to fruition. And I think that Magic has way more of that than Hearthstone does, for sure.
For what it's worth, like, I think draft is its own animal, though. Of course, your decisions matter drastically in draft, and your understanding of situations matters in draft because you're building your own deck from scratch. But everyone in Hearthstone is just like playing the same 3 net decks, so
Well, right, but like Constructed is also a lot of the same stuff. I feel like people complain about sealed deck, for example, and you were watching me play sealed.
I love
in a lot
sealed.
of those instances where they're just like, oh, sealed sucks because you just open a bad pool or whatever. And it's like, nah, you gotta build something out of that pool. And very few times in my career have I had a pool where I'm just like, yeah, there's just nothing here. There's nothing that I was able to do. And Hearthstone is just like, well, I've 30 cards to play with, and I just play like the good cards, basically. Like it's not free form. You don't have a lot of ways to do like skill expression type stuff.
I think basically every Hearthstone pro that I know would say the exact same thing, but with a lot more cursing involved, as far as I can tell. But like I am struck by playing Hearthstone how many games nothing I did mattered except doing the thing my deck does. Because there are so many decks in this format of Hearthstone where it's like, what does your deck do? On somewhere between turn 4 and turn 6, I make 50 power. Like that's like somewhere between turn 4 and it's not 50. It's more like 24.
What class is this? What deck is this?
Oh, buddy. Okay. That is Dorian Warlock. That is Hand Buff Hunter. That is Drunk Paladin. That is Cycle Rogue. Every single one of them is effectively doing something that is a couple of 8/8s on anywhere from turn 4 to turn 6. The Dorian one especially is like, if you draw this correctly, not only will you like turn 5 a bunch of big bodies, you might just turn 5 OTK. Like there's a lot.
Goddamn.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I guess thinking about it now, lack of skill expression is also partly why I was frustrated with Shadowverse, and like why I quit initially was because basically every class had like a turn 10 OTK rolled up, and so it was just like play first a lot of the time, or like did I actually draw my cards in the right order, or did I get kind of like screwed over in terms of like, oh, I didn't draw all the pieces in the right order or whatever. And some classes did that better than others. And it was just really frustrating where I was like, all right, on turn 10, I fireball you for 20. You know, this is stupid. And new Shadowverse is basically that, but slightly different. It's not as clear cut as I fireball you for 20. It's like, oh, maybe this class fireballs you for 14 on turn 9 or something. Like they did dirty it up a little bit, but like how you get to that point is pretty much on rails, like once you determine like, okay, it is correct to mulligan in this sort of way.
Yeah. That's sort of how it felt playing Hearthstone. Is like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of not having to like think about shit. Like I'm a big fan of that, but I don't know what.
Play multiple games, and then you get to have one where you just kind of like turn your brain off and just enjoy the bullshit, and then you can try hard in Snap or Magic or whatever.
I did a little bit of tryharding at the end of the Hearthstone season, which still hasn't ended yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm safe, to try to lock up my 11x star bonus. And all I did, you don't know what that means? Yeah, it basically just means that you get a free ride to Legend next time, basically. Your wins count for more the entire way. Versus 10x your bonus ends at Diamond 5. It's effectively just like you start in Legend, but you still have to play some games. And the top 10% of NA get it, right? Top 10% of every server get it, right? So first of all,
what is top 10% in Legend?
About 1,600 right now.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I am a little surprised that I was able to get it, considering I don't know shit about what anyone's doing, but at this point I actually probably, like, just from osmosis, I do know enough.
You're kind of like Paulo in like the small game space, you know what I mean? Like there's I'm not saying like you're the GOAT, but I'm saying, you know, you're like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm just doing what my deck does. It's like, yeah, dude, you're better than everyone. Like I don't know how you don't know this yet.
I don't know, but like I am very much like I played 6 games today. I lost the 2 where I didn't do what my deck did. I won 3 where I did what my deck did, and then the 4th one I won because my opponent disconnected. So like, I don't know about any of the shit you're saying, right? Like, to me,
I've been do they have connection issues? Because like I was DCing a decent amount and it was really frustrating.
I don't know, but I was dead as shit, probably, to an armor DH that was almost certainly going to like exit me to death and gain 1 billion armor. They disconnected and I huffered them in the face and they died. So thank you so much to that person. You probably locked up my 11x. I really appreciate your failure to draw cards. But yeah, it was basically like because like I was playing the Hunter deck, right? You have 5 minions in your deck. One of them is the worst card ever printed. You never want to draw him. He's the one that allows you to play warrior cards in your class. The other 2 make 2 copies of them. That's it. So your whole thing is you need a minion, and then you make it really big in your hand, and then you play like 22 power on turn 4. That's your deck. And when you do that, you win a lot of fucking games. When you don't do that, you lose a lot of fucking games. And you're still in those games, but you just ultimately end up losing a lot of them.
Does the minion have haste, or just no one has a dark banishing?
They do not have a lot of like power word kills in the format. Like it's just a lot of like damage based removal for wide boards, because there are decks that do that, right? So like the best decks in the format are all doing this kind of thing, so there's not as much removal, right? So you end up with like 4 different decks that are all effectively trying to like drop 2 8/8s by 4. And they're just like in like a sort of repeated jerk off motion, right? Like they're all just doing it. They're all just doing it, right? It's like, that's it.
Ian Robb would be proud.
Yeah. I made 2 15 power bears on turn 4. That's what I did. It turns out that won the game. Now, did I have to make decisions after that? Yeah, but was I in a position to win purely because I made those guys? Yes. Like it was like 90% locked up by the time I got to turn 4. I didn't do a lot of thinking. Like that is a bit how Grand Arena feels sometimes, where it's just like, I really miss the Snap. There are these games where just like over. But because Snap has 3 locations, and this is really the genius of the game, you are never as out of it in a Snap game as you are in a Hearthstone game.
True.
It's just, you just never are. Like there are no cards that are as good in a Snap game as a Mirdrasil is in Hearthstone, or as bad in a Snap game as Ranger Gilly is in Hearthstone. They just don't exist. Nothing like it.
Amir Drasil, if you have these issues, consult your doctor.
I took a Mirdrasil, but my dick grew even larger. I thought it was supposed to shrink.
What do you think happened to me?
Oh my god. I consider it a great failure of the modern age that we don't have any like functional dick growth like strategies. You know what I mean? Like none of them work. They all just like break your dick. It's just like, it's 2025. We should have those that work. You know what I mean? Like I just don't understand. I feel like if we're gonna make RFK the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the least he can do is give every American an extra 3 inches. You feel me?
I mean, he must already be packing, because otherwise he'd be pushing for it, right?
I feel like just blanket policy. You offer everyone an extra 3 inches, nobody's going to say no. Even though it leaves you in the same relative space, you're still going to feel better about it.
Yeah, but he would never do that.
I see. Why?
Like if you were the GOAT,
sure.
Why would you want anyone? Why would you give anyone like the keys to your kingdom potentially? You know,
but you're still in the same relative space. Like him,
dude, it doesn't. He needs to be as far separated from everyone else as possible. Especially a dude like RFK, where he has nothing else going well for him.
I see. Well, I mean, I think he's probably got a lot going for him. It's just like, hollow, right? I imagine him to be someone who is superficially satisfied with life. Like, say what you want for him. Yeah, he did spend a lot of his 20s doing heroin. He's probably pretty chill.
But those people are alone at some point.
Right.
And at that point, you start thinking about things, and it's like, maybe you're lonely, or you're like, oh, these relationships are not that good, or whatever. I'm not feeling fulfilled in my life.
My dick isn't 3 inches longer.
Right, and he could just be staring at his dick in the mirror and realize that it is not bringing him the amount of happiness that he thought it would.
My nightly routine.
Yeah. It's like, what? It just leads you to question.
I got everything. A full-length mirror just for that. Like, just contemplate.
I had to have it actually go down through the floor and into the next room.
We dug a hole in the basement to allow me to do this.
Buddy of mine, Neil Reeves, shout out Neil Reeves, actual goated card game player, used to say that he was not fat. It was just that his dick was so big he had to wrap it around his waist.
Yeah, I've heard that one. That's a fairly common one, I think. I think your buddy might have net decked that one.
This was like early 2000s.
That is when it would have been net decked, yes. I think you've just outed your buddy as a net decker. The worst thing you can call somebody, really.
I mean, yes, but also, I don't know, one of the most underrated deck builders of all time, too. I tried texting him a while ago, and it wasn't him. Changed his number. I was the person who just like wrong numbered someone.
It'd be way funnier if it was him, but he was just like, oh, it's fucking Gerry. Wrong number,
The thought
buddy.
crossed my mind. The thought crossed my mind.
Wrong number, you fucking asshole. Out me as a net decker on a podcast, why don't you?
Podcast where tens of people listen.
I buddy, I hate to tell you this. It is unfortunately more than tens of people.
Well, tens add up to whatever number it actually is, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you are technically correct. I hope you're proud of yourself for that loophole.
Is it like 2,000 still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Killing it.
I'm as surprised as anybody, frankly. I will also say, on the subject of large dongs, they don't even call me the tripod anymore because one of them is so much longer than the others. You know? Normally it's like, oh, he's a tripod. He's got 3 legs. No. It's a fucking pogo stick. Okay? That's the ratio we're talking about here. That's what I have to do to accommodate in my full-length bathroom mirror contemplation.
You could still be a tripod, but you'd always just be like looking up.
I'm kidding. It's tiny. Don't worry about me. We're gonna move on to Invisible Woman, the new card coming out next week. Do you think this card's gonna get Fantastic or nerfed? Because I think it's a distinct possibility.
People were complaining about Fantasticar initially. I think that was a little overhyped, but this does do a pretty good job in that sort of deck. So if it actually puts it over the top to where, oh, those complaints are warranted, I guess it would not be that surprising. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't think the Fantasticar stuff is nerfable, but it fits the exact profile of the kind of shit they would nerf because it's easy, so it's overrepresented in their data. There is nothing you have to do to play that deck. It is the most Surtur deck of all time. It's just like, it's just a bunch of fucking numbers. Go do the things that make the numbers happen on this. That's it. That's the whole deck. Like
I play some of these cards. I play Fantasticar. I wait until I have the most of those cards in play, and then I click button.
Yes, it is a deck that is, in terms of it is the closest we have to a Hearthstone deck. Like, where it's just like, you're not doing shit. This is not you, dude. You are not thinking about anything here.
I will say it's good to have one of those. You know,
I agree.
Snap can be the try hard game for some people, but Snap should also be the no thinking game for some people.
The problem, I think, is that because they balance for like the meat of the population curve, a deck that is easy is always going to be better than it is in like quote unquote the real world. And I realize you could very easily quibble and say like that is not the real world. The place where they're balancing for is the real world. High Infinite, we're the fake people. But
agreed.
It means that decks that are just easy large numbers of points get overrepresented because functionally the difference between a really great player playing them and a really bad player playing them is like very minimal, actually. Like they're pretty similar.
As it turns out, lack of skill expression does tend to flatten results among different players who have, wider separations in their skill sets.
So if you're rank 70 playing this deck, you're not playing a deck that's like the average rank 70 deck. You're playing it at a much higher level because it's the easiest thing on earth. You're effectively smurfing, right? You're me playing this deck at rank 70. You might as well be. Where I have to play against people who know things like what I'm doing and how to beat it. You probably don't. So not only do you get to play this deck with the level of acumen that I would, you also get to play it against worse players. So its win rate's just going to be dummy stupid if they just look at that. And I kind of hope they don't, but I get why they would.
God bless smurfing.
Yeah.
The one pure thing left in this world.
That's a really good pun, I think, that you might not recognize because in RuneScape there are these accounts called pures that like specifically keep their level low by optimizing for like, oh, we're gonna have one defense and it's like maximized for PvP. So a specific kind of smurf would be a pure. And you definitely didn't know that, but great gag.
I did not. I do
Yeah.
have a friend who plays a lot of RuneScape, and I'm gonna ask him about that.
I don't even know if that's up to date. This is like the last time I remember that game being like 2007. So, you know,
Well, he's playing like the I don't know if there's like a new one or if they did
they did old school
something new
RuneScape.
to it. Yeah, like that
Yeah.
maybe. Like he played back in the day, and then he started playing the new slash old thing.
Yeah. I have thought that that would be a fun thing to do, and then I actually tried playing RuneScape. I made an Iron Man, a free to play Iron Man. I did all the free to play stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I was like, yeah, this did not hook me enough to do the rest of this. It was like a fun little playthrough as a free to play Iron Man, which is like there's restrictions on like trading and stuff, and you can't die, right? It was like that's a fun little playthrough.
If you die, you delete your account.
You don't delete your account, but you lose the status, right? So it was like I was a
Okay.
free to play. I think it's called a hardcore Iron Man, and I played it through, and I was like, oh, I mean, this is cool, but I didn't really get enough out of it to like want to do anything other than that, and it sort of got to treat it like a normal video game, where it's just like you play through Dragon Slayer, and you're like, oh, I beat the game, and you're done. That's what I did.
Has anyone ever done if I die in game, I'll die in real life?
Probably, but that's dark, man. Like, I think it's probably illegal to do that. If you tried to make content in that way, that's like it's really bad.
It's just person misses a video for like a different reason, and you're just like, oh no, what happened?
I routinely joke about taking a header out the window, but I joke about that because I am on the ground floor. And that is inherently a funny concept of like, I'm going to take a header out the window, fall 2 feet, and like scrape my knee. That's just a good gag.
Mm. I hit my funny bone.
Yeah. That hurts. I'm a large guy. And in my old apartment, what would happen is I'd walk into the kitchen and not to like suck myself off, but like pretty wide up on the shoulder area, right? And I've got some lats, so my arms go out a little bit. And every time I would walk into the kitchen, I would shoulder into the fridge 100% of times. Just, it would hit the fridge and like knock a magnet off every single time. Now we have a slightly larger floor plan. So it no longer happens, but there are still like squeeze areas here. Like I have a little cabinet thing here, which like if I'm not careful, I will just like elbow straight into.
So when I moved back to Virginia in 2020, I bought this really nice couch because I was like, I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm doing so well financially. My life's going great. I'm gonna host a bunch of people. All that stuff is gone now. And also the couch is gone now because I had to move into a smaller place, and then it would not fit in the doorway into my living room. And the place is so small that I did not even have place to just like put the couch. So I had to throw away half of the couch.
That's the worst
And
way
it's
to
just
learn
like
that.
it's like you move into your apartment, and your girlfriend's like, "Ah, sorry, Kay, I'm gonna throw you out. You don't fit in our doorways."
Oh my god, it's so much easier to be her. She is quite a small person. And it is just like on the other hand, like she can't reach things. Like I gotta say, I feel all right about like if I had to choose, I would pick being me, right?
Have you ever sat next to a small person on an airplane though, and you're like, God, it looks like they have so much room. Like they're
Yes.
just swimming.
I'm so conscientious on airplanes. Like I am almost certainly like I'm not the fattest person people are gonna sit next to, but I might be the widest. Like I am a wide like it would like there's just a lot of me
When
with
people bump into you, do they say that they're sorry? Do they apologize?
I don't leave the house.
Fair. I can't even like have you imagine, it's like, do you think people would apologize to you? And then at that point, would you just be like, you don't have to apologize. This happens all the time.
If only I actually sounded like that. If only I actually had that bass in my voice. I'm a little nasally, a little nasally.
You don't have to apologize.
There it is. I also sort of dress in a like deliberately unintimidating way. Typically, that's like a purposeful choice. Look,
Yeah, legit.
yeah, I try to generally project approachability rather than the opposite of that. And I think, being a little man bun dork helps. Definitely approachable.
Yeah,
Like
for real.
it's definitely an approachable haircut to have.
I was rocking the man bun, went into public, which was a mistake, and a stranger complimented my appearance, and it stun locked the shit out of me because that's never happened before.
I'm a little
But
overweight now. But that used to happen to me a lot, unfortunately.
well, yeah, I could understand that. Just I don't like you could be the ugliest person alive, but if you're jacked, like there's gonna be someone who's gonna be like, "Yo, you're jacked. You look good."
It's
You know?
true. That is true. Uh One of the things that's always been surprising to me, and this is like a bit of an arrogant thing. I'll cop to that. There are things that you never think are going to matter when you're an adult. And one of those things I thought when I was a kid was like, no one's ever it's never going to matter what color my eyes are, or anything like that. Never really felt like it was something that mattered. Consistently, it is the number one compliment I get as an adult. Number one. It's not close. Like, it's not nice hair, nice beard, nice muscles, none of it. Eyes. I didn't do shit to do that. They just happened. It's like, I'm not saying I resent it or whatever. Obviously, it's flattering, but it's like the least meaningful thing about me by a wide margin. And it is the number one most noticed thing about me by a similar margin.
It's like you sit down your LGS and it's like, oh, roll to see who goes first. And person rolls like natty 12.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, that's a really nice die roll. You did a good
12,
job.
dude. Yes. That's exactly
they're
what
like,
it's like.
But I didn't do anything. It was random. And you're like, but no, you did it great. And that is now the first thing I think about when I think about you is how you rolled a 12 and you just rolled it so good.
I genuinely wonder, like, what percentage better my life is just because I have mildly pretty eyes. Like, it's probably some percentage, right?
My cat that is sleeping right here definitely got adopted by me because she just has cute anime eyes.
Yeah, like, would I be in the same relationship I am now if I didn't have pretty eyes? I'd like to believe so, but like, what if I wouldn't? Right? Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, and I am struck by it. Cause like I think I'm a decently good looking dude. There's plenty
like
of things.
Everyone is struck by your eyes.
Ah, yes. I thought you were gonna like circle it back and be like, just like everyone is struck by Shang-Chi. Like we get right back to it.
Gut punching you to death.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I'm not saying it bothers me necessarily that like that's the thing people notice, like the one thing that I didn't put any work into. But I do notice it. It, it has come up.
You notice that they notice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All the shit I obsess over, like trimming my beard to certain lengths or like what clothes I'm wearing or any of that shit, nobody compliments that.
I mean, if you were unkempt to the point where people might just not even like give you a second look, then like maybe that is the thing that is like opening the door where it's like it kind of like catches
Sure.
their eye that you're well groomed, and then they see your eyes, and then they just
If only.
there you go.
Yeah. What did they
If
compliment?
only you're in a relationship.
Did they compliment the hair specifically? Or was it just like nice vibe?
I don't want to say.
Nice dick? I could see it.
Yeah,
like down your pants.
I was wearing shorts, so yeah, obviously it was
yeah. Hanging out there. Like solid 17-incher, bro. Fuck.
a Midrasil or whatever the shit is called.
Midrasil. Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I mean, I I noticed that you tell this story about how you got a compliment on your hair on a podcast where you have had your hair covered up the whole time.
I never said I got complimented on my hair.
You brought it up in the context of hair. I'm making an educated guess.
I'm trying to remember exactly what you said that made me say it.
You
But
said
anyway.
you went outside with a man bun because I talked about how the man bun was approachable.
That's why, because it was approachable. And then like I had it out, and then person approached me and was like, compliment. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
So you've decided to keep it under then. Now you were like, nobody fucking approached me on this podcast. I am going to wear a beanie. How fucking dare you? You made a decision with your hair that I am slowly being forced into, which is you took it really thin. And what happens is every time I shave, you might be able to notice this. This side goes up higher and this side stays the same. I've really got to do something about it. Wait, maybe this is the side that keeps going up higher. I don't know. But the point is I'm imbalanced at this point, and I think I've got to cut it all off.
I don't think that's the necessary solution.
I kind of want to cut it off anyway. I don't know, man. Having hair this long is kind of annoying.
Well, yeah, I also want to cut it off because it's been like 95 plus, and I've been doing a lot of driving, and my car currently doesn't have AC.
Oh, God, I mean, nothing's gonna make that better.
It would make it a little less bad. Also, I was out walking down by the stream, you know?
Yeah, your habit, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of like, making things a little less bad, I think that's kind of the argument for banning Shang-Chi in Grand Arena.
You think it makes it less bad?
Not necessarily, but it might. Like, I think the fundamentals of the format are going to largely stay the same. You're going to have a bunch of decks that are unplayable because of various reasons. Just you're changing the reason from Shang-Chi exists to you get stat checked. And I think that you might as well just pull the trigger on it because it's not like it's going to make it worse.
I mean, it will, though. Because you're also complaining about Wong. Are you also saying, like, ban all the enablers?
No, I'm saying that it's probably better to have a format where Wong is broken than a format where Shang-Chi is broken.
So you're saying no interaction? Or just not efficient interaction?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, hit Shang and leave the rest alone. Maybe hit Enchantress just for shits. And just call it and be like, look, we don't think this is going to make the format better, but there's only a week left. Who cares?
Only a week left when it's only had a week of existence.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, lame duck format, It's over. It's rotating standard, brother.
We're done. That's the thing is, like, I don't think it is over. I've played, like, 20 games. And I imagine that there are people out there who have, like, similar experiences to mine or have played even less, and, like, they do want to experience it. Like, they just haven't yet. But you're again talking to a bunch of people who play 10 hours a day.
I did bring that up. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think it might be correct to ignore all the people complaining because they're only complaining because they've sort of explored the game mode fully, in much the same way that high infinite players complain about things that don't actually matter to a wider player base.
So then, okay, what is actually happening is maybe the game format is solved. Maybe people have figured it out and people can do what they want with that information, but it's solved for you. It is not solved for everyone. That information has not trickled down yet, right? That would be my guess.
I don't know.
And also, so like the format ends, what happens if it comes back again, given that it's like a champions thing? I imagine they introduce different champions.
Maybe. You think it'd be additive or like would they go to 12 or would they keep it at 8? You know what I mean?
Would they go to 30? I don't know. Like who knows? But like a lot of this is centered around it being the Fantastic Four movie release month.
Yeah.
Right? So if the format comes back, that stuff isn't going to make any goddamn sense, right? Like, and presumably maybe they tie it into something else.
I'm swiftly like thinking through my Rolodex of like superhero movies coming out, right? Like what do we got on deck? But
I honestly have no idea.
I honestly also have no idea. I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet. I saw Superman, and that is the
I
most
also I also saw Superman.
that is the most comic booky movie I've ever seen. Like that
Agreed.
shit is like, wow, I'm reading a graphic novel right now.
Yeah, you know what really blows my mind about Superman?
Hmm.
The fact that you left your house.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I took the same amount of effort as Superman doing anything, really. Like I felt like Superman for doing such a thing. But
You're like,
yeah,
why are people praising me?
it was amazingly well cast. Like basically everyone in a large role in the movie was extremely well cast, from Superman to Lois Lane to Lex Luthor to Guy Gardner to even like Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific. Everyone who had like more than 12 lines was really good, I feel like. And that goes a
Clark's
long way in a
parents.
movie.
Clark's parents were good too.
Think so? I don't know.
I do. Honestly do.
I just don't know how you could tell if they were well cast. Oh, you mean his actual parents, not like, okay. I was like, hold on a second.
Yeah, not like his Kryptonian parents
Yes,
or
I
whatever.
was like, how could you tell his Kryptonian parents are well cast? How the fuck did you know?
No, they played that message on loop superbly.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, how
the
the
Kansas
fuck?
City
Yeah.
folk, or not Kansas City. Certainly, they don't live in Kansas City. Kansas rural.
Dude, wait, is Superman a Chiefs fan? Oh, this fucking sucks. I just processed.
He's a Swiftie
this.
for sure. He's a Swiftie for sure.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, Kansas City's in Missouri, but like, I bet he's a Chiefs fan, man. Fuck. That sucks so bad. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that at all. Superman, oh god. I mean, he's definitely a Jayhawks fan. Oh god. There is no way. That has colored my image of Superman forever. We can't. It's a bad movie now. I'm sorry.
Well, you can take solace in the fact that the biggest city, close to Kansas / partly in Kansas, is probably not Kansas City in the DC universe. It is, some sort of metropolis or whatever the shit town Arrow lives in.
Star City.
Yeah,
Uh
there you go.
I
Why do I worked for a company called Star City for over a decade. I couldn't remember what it was called.
I didn't even make that connection myself. Wait, is that why they're named that?
No, Roanoke is the Star City, and they are based out of Roanoke, Virginia.
Green Arrows and Roanoke, dog.
Roanoke, he most certainly is not. There are plenty of people in that town who have failed that. I will say that.
Who have what?
Roanoke has
your audio cut out.
Who have failed that city. The thing that he says before
yeah, he says it
somebody
in the show Arrow, right? Yes.
Yeah, but that guy is also a shithead. So
I've heard this.
Anyway, Roanoke has a little tiny mountain that has like a petting zoo on top of it, not like directly like on the tip or anything, but like you go up there and there's like hiking trails and like a zoo and whatever, and there's a giant star on the mountain that you see when you're going through the highway. It's like, oh, it's the Star City.
I have never been blessed enough to visit home of Magic the Gathering, Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah,
never been a place I've been to.
You haven't
lived. It's actually weird because I visit family in DC fairly regularly. Like maybe one of the only regular trips in my life is doing that. And I have never.
Roanoke's like 3 hours from DC.
Okay, that makes way more sense. You're in like the actual country as opposed to like, the places where like Raytheon lobbyists live.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes way more sense.
Like depending on when you go, I'm maybe like an hour and a half, almost like due south, like south and a little off to the side or whatever. And then Roanoke is like way further west.
It's one of the things that has unfortunately
also
been a casualty of being a streamer, is that like I don't think I can take a week off to do that.
No, I mean they'll find a new favorite streamer.
I like literally.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what am I gonna do?
Be an iModel.
That's the worst part. I have like marginally above average eyes. I don't have incredibly pretty eyes. I've seen so many prettier eyes. I think a lot of people, like my girlfriend's eyes, are these beautiful, deep brown. And I think those are prettier eyes than mine. They're like the eyes a deer has. But
I think Shang-Chiing a giant Herbie is beautiful and sacred and should be protected. We all like different things, KM.
I feel like you're like the hunter in Bambi being like, this is beautiful, and I should be constitutionally protected. I should do this more often. The world should encourage me doing this.
Yeah, do a murder, see how you feel.
That's the closing lesson of this podcast. Remember when we were going to talk about Invisible Woman and we like immediately stopped to talk about our hair color?
I said she was probably good. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think she's honestly, I do think she's probably going to get the deck nerfed. Like I think that she's going to be so good and so easy and so free in that deck list as a 3/5. I get the sense that this was not that it wasn't on their radar, but like they talked about how nervous they were to buff Doom 2099, and it's like I don't even know if it goes in there. Like I don't think that's. I mean, she goes in there. Well, obviously,
if it was good, then it would be a thing. But
yeah.
If it's not a thing, then like yeah, obviously who cares?
But yeah, like I wonder about like hybridizing, right? Like what if we're just supposed to play like the 1-drops Doom 2099, all the Fantastic Four, and that's just better than the high Evo stuff because it doesn't require skipping energy. But doubling up a Sunspot seems super jacked up if I understand how that works correctly, because it's not like he eats the energy. It's not like it goes away. It seems like he just would get the double on it. That seems really messed up, you know?
That would be my expectation. Obviously, we'll see, I guess, but
yeah,
I would just act like that was how it worked.
Yeah. And so like all of that stuff, it's like I think that we're going to try the Doom 2099 stuff. That stuff seems insanely beatable if you want to beat it. Like, you want to beat Doom 2099, go play Afflict, put a US agent in your deck. GG. We're done here. They don't beat you. Yeah, it actually is a PG. But that is what largely like my thought process is. Like, I'm not worried about the Doom 2099 stuff just because it's like the world's most solvable thing. But there is a point at which a points deck like high Evo stuff will just have too many points. Even if you can profitably interact with it, it'll just be like too many points spread across too many lanes that your interaction doesn't really matter. And yes, Killmonger will still shit can it, right? Yes, they will have to play Kyera. Yes, there will be like, what can we actually fit in here? But also, they'll just be doing a lot of big ass guys, a lot of really good numbers without a lot of effort.
Yeah, I mean, assuming Invisible Woman ups the ceiling, and then they have to do something else to play Kyera, which lowers the ceiling a little bit. I think they're still up on that exchange, especially when them keeping around like 10 power Sunspot or whatever is also contributing to that. And now it's indestructible, can't be messed with. Can't wait for the day when people are like, oh, I wish Shadow King was like Luke Cage and just global, you know?
I have a like back of my head idea for like they should make a card that's like preemptive Shadow King, where it's like you play this here and anything that they have there can't gain green power.
That is the least fun version of a hate card. But yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, I know. It's my idea is basically like there's so many cards that interact with ongoing. There's just Shadow King that interacts with green power. So why not just make the echo of Shadow Kings?
Your girl Valkyrie. What do you mean? Tessa Thompson, what's up?
Come on now. Come on now. Like, what are we?
I'm trolling.
Yeah, come on. Come on now. I will leave it at that. Do you have any final messages on our viewers, for our viewers who are still asking for a Gerry Sode?
Lol.
Incredible. That is the brevity that we have come to expect for the man known as Gerry T. By the way, someone linked me a video of your old show on Star City, I think called Gerry TV, which it is
Yeah.
actually criminal that you don't have a YouTube that's Gerry TV. What the fuck are you doing?
I think I looked into it and it was taken, or maybe I thought it was too corny. Have you ever seen show Above the Curve?
That is one that I know about because of Glenn Jones. Because
Exactly,
when I
yeah.
invited him on 8 Cubes, he was like, "Oh, we also ripped off Around the Horn to do that, or we also
Yeah.
ripped off PTI to do this." So there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I that one I know from Glenn. That is about it though. He was like, "Yeah, have
Was
you ever
the was
heard?"
the Gerry TV app? Why did it get sent to you?
I
Or
want to
was it
say
good?
no. It's because we brought up we do our occasional mentions of Grinder, the Brad Nelson story.
Yeah.
And so someone brought up that they knew Brad Nelson from an episode of Gerry TV. And also, they have a copy of Grinder, the Brad Nelson story that they may look for in order for me to purchase it. It is unclear.
What do you mean look for?
But I don't know if
How
they
do you
have it.
not
They've
know
moved a
what it is?
bunch.
How it is not prominently displayed on your wall?
I don't know. It is a little bit like owning a Black Lotus, right? It's just your
I have
most
so many
valuable
questions.
possession, and you don't know where
Yeah.
the fuck it is. Think about all the
Oh, yeah.
knowledge in that book.
Let me check where my Escalade is, you know? Like, what the hell, man? I seem to have misplaced my jet.
Shout out to Grinder, Brad Nelson story.